make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Well, we're here. Once again, hi everyone. Thanks for joining us. Hey, I want to apologize to our guest yesterday, Nancy Norbeck. We were supposed to make bad art with her, and through the lovely, lovely technology that is StreamYard, it didn't happen. So she's going to come back next Monday. So for the people who were asking about her, like her, she'll be here on Monday, and we're going to make bad art with her. So it'll be really fun. So tune in for that. Speaking of tuning in, we've had a great month of people watching this show. We've had a great run of people watching this show. We started the show last June. I think this is episode 191. And let's see how many views we've had, shall we? $286,500 views so far since we've started this show. So thank you everybody who watches this show, who shares it, who likes it, who does all of the things, rates it. Now's a good time to share the show. Just click that button and share it. And hopefully we can get to 300,000 by the end of the month. I think we can do it with your help. So right now, just go. Quick little boop. A couple weeks ago, we had Christopher Pellegrini on the show, who is an expert in Japanese spirits. And he was talking all about his line. He actually owns a business. And Honkaku Spirits is his business. Great line of whiskeys, rums, and other great spirits. And he's going to come back. And we're going to do a live tasting. So if you want to do a little tasting with us at, 10 a.m., and who doesn't want to do that, go to the website, honkakuspirits.com. Those are the drinks we're going to be tasting on the show, so you can look those up, and it should be fun. They're not so popular here in the United States yet, but some of them can kind of replace and upgrade some of the drinks, like vodka and gin and stuff like that. So that'll be a really, really fun show. Take a look at this little clip to learn more about Honkaku Spirits.
Are you tired of the same old drinks? Let your taste buds travel. Honkaku Spirits delivers authentic Japanese spirits right to your door. From family distilleries in southern Japan, they bring you exquisite small batch shochu, awamori, koji whiskey, and gin. It's more than a drink, it's a journey to Japan in every sip. Discover your new favorite spirit at honkaku.com and enjoy free U.S. shipping on any order. Thanks for sponsoring the show, Honkaku Spirits.
We have a really good show today. Erik Springberg is going to be here. We're talking to him about all of the work he is doing with men and mental health and mental well-being. So that'll be a really fun segment later in the show. But first up, my first guest plays Pearl on the longest running soap opera in television history, General Hospital. You can also find her guest hosting on QVC, in bookstores with her book, Style on a Shoestring, and on podcast platforms with her soon-to-be-launched podcast, The Dating Lab with the Hillbilly Yenta. I hope this works and it doesn't screw up like yesterday. Please welcome Andy Paige. So much for being here.
Are you kidding me? I want to join your carnival circus. Yes, I'm thrilled to be with you.
There's enough room on this desk for a co-host.
And I have to say, I love being in your TV. I love the whole thing. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. We were just talking. General Hospital is your first acting gig?
It is. So, well, first of all, General Hospital is the longest running television show in TV history. It
61 years?
Show, 61 years. Yeah, can you
Insane.
believe that? And I actually watched it with my great-grandmother in the 70s growing up. So I love that I'm now a part of this. And yeah, I'm 54 years old. I come from a television background, but how I got this show is like crazy banana poo-poo like britches. It's like nuts. So because I come from reality, and in the 2000s, there was this huge like makeover movement. Like every other show was making people over, and I was a part of it. so I was on a show called Starting Over. I was on a show called 10 Years Younger. I had my own show called, Sense of Style. I did How Do I Look? I did lots of makeover shows, and like hundreds with an S. And so, the great thing about being a part of those kinds of shows is I worked with a lot of producers, like a super lot, like dozens. And all of those
With an S.
producers went on, yeah, with an S. And all of those producers went on to do other projects and other shows. And so as a result, I've had wonderful opportunities because I always kind of have this belief that, you show up, you give your best, you want to be prepared, you want to be on time, and you want to make things better and not worse. And so I'm that girl that, I'll show up on set and they're like, oh, we need someone to do this. No problem, I'll do it. Oh, somebody needs to go do this. No problem, I'll do it. So I've always kind of been like a pitch in gal, because a production is, all about the whole. It's not just about one person. So there was this opportunity that came on General Hospital, and two producers that I worked with years ago, we're talking like 22 years ago, had seen that I am now a guest host on QVC. And so I've been guest hosting on QVC for several years now, and there was a role that came for a guest host on the fictional home shopping network within the General Hospital storyline. And they're like, you know what? I think we know the right person.
It's like it was written for you.
They reached out to me like 22 years later, literally through a text, because I haven't changed any of my information. They're like, hey, do you remember me? I'm Beth. And I'm like, Beth, yeah, of course I do. How's your mama? How you doing? And she's like, well, you're not going to believe it. We've got this role on General Hospital. Yes, it's still on. Yes, we still have over 3 million viewers a day. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, I've never acted, Beth. And she's like, I think you can do it. And so, this is my very first acting role. Now, come on, I have been in front of the camera a lot, but I've never had to say words that other people wrote. So that's a very big deal.
What do you love about it? Are you having fun? I'm guessing it's probably just like, is it a blur at this point still? Are you like, do you even know that it's your life?
It is definitely pinch me. I mean, my dressing room is next to Cameron Matheson.
Oh my God.
I know, right? And
not a bad gig.
And when I get there, I'm like, I just can't believe it. So the General Hospital set and the Grey's Anatomy set are pretty much the same thing. And a lot of the people go back and forth, and they use the same gurneys, and like it's like bananas, right? So that's kind of fun. But the life of soap operas, I mean, it is crazy. So they film like 50 to 60 scenes a day. They go through like so many pages of dialogue you can't imagine. They do 250 hours of television a year. And it's definitely pinch me, but it's hard.
Yeah. People don't realize it's like filming a movie every day.
It really is. It is hard. And there are so many people behind the scenes that you just, when you're watching at home, you're like, oh, but no, there's, dozens of people in wardrobe and hair and makeup and lighting and audio and editing and producers and, security people. I mean, it's a lot. Of course, writers, all that. It's a lot.
Yeah. I love that. Like, I love how all the crossover of everything you do, but it's also natural, and it also feels so like a movie. Like, doesn't it? Like, it feels like that part of your life. Was QVC also like, well, this is great for us too, because now we have some more exposure?
I don't know if QVC gives a poo-poo just yet. Maybe a little.
I bet they do. I bet they do.
Maybe. I think maybe. We'll just say yes. I mean, the one thing that neither one of them want to happen is for my QVC work to interfere with my General Hospital work. I mean, I just got through just doing a marathon this close to the holidays at QVC, where literally I was sleeping in a hotel like 10 minutes away and was, on air 3 and 4 times a day to, keep the cogs and the wheels turning. So
the glamorous life, right?
Yeah. So that was really big. But yeah, I mean, maybe the QVC people care, but my role is that of a fictional home shopping host. So even though I'm having to say words that people have written, they're words that I have uttered before.
It's also real. And you have your own line of products, do you not?
I do. Well, I mean, line of products. Sure, I can say that. I mean, what I did was I invented the Girly Go Garter. So I invented the Girly Go Garter as a mic pack holder for television and film, because coming from the reality world, it's always a struggle to figure out as a girl where you're going to put that really hot mic pack and then IFB, and quite often you have two transmitters, and everything they ever gave me for my leg would just fall down, and So yeah, I invented the Girly Go Garter. It's a hands-free purse that you wear on your leg. It will hold up to 3 pounds. It'll definitely hold your transmitter and IFB if you're on set. But we're also the #1 insulin pump, device. We are huge for weddings and proms and anywhere that you don't want to lug a handbag, like a stadium or a football, concert or anything like that. So it's crazy. I did invent this product, but now at our height, we were in like over 6,000 stores. We hold 18 patents, 19 patents. It's taken on a life of it for sure.
Oh, I love that. Can you talk about you? I mean, you also, there's so much I could talk to you about. You also have a podcast.
I do.
When did you get into podcasting?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. I haven't launched it yet. I have several in the can, and I haven't perfected it yet. I mean, you are like, I've done almost 50 podcasts as a guest, but I'll tell you what I'm crazy interested in right now is dating. So my big question is, are you in love?
Me? Yes, I am.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're in love, but I will tell you that finding love is a very difficult thing these days. And I am fascinated by it. Like, what is happening? Why are we not mating? Why are people, not finding, their true love? I mean, we are put on this planet to enjoy and to learn, and relationships are our ultimate opportunity to grow and to heal. And so I'm very concerned about the dating world. And so my podcast is called The Dating Lab with the Hillbilly Yenta. And I'm doing a deep dive into dating. And I've filmed several of them, but I haven't released them yet. When I feel like I have 3 solid that I really like, then I'm going to release them, but I'm not quite there yet.
Okay. Well, I'll help you.
Awesome. Yes, you are helping me. I mean, I need to get a set like yours for sure.
We'll figure it out for you. You'll get them out very soon. I promise.
Well, I'm known as the Hillbilly. Wait, let me just tell you how I got the name Hillbilly Yenta, because the people are like, what?
Well, because I was just going to ask where you grew up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. So I'm originally from Alabama, and but I've been in New York City since 1987. So I've literally been in New York since I was 17. And my husband is he's a Boston boy. He's a Yankee, born and raised, and he's half Jewish. And so and he's my second husband who's half Jewish. So obviously I have a proclivity here. But my husband, because I'm such a mensch with wanting to know what's going on with people's lives, and are they in love, and have they found love, and so he's the one who calls me the Hillbilly Yenta, which is a play on Fiddler on the Roof, and me being a matchmaker.
That's so cute. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a sportscaster.
Oh.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's what I went to school for. So I, dropped out of high school, moved to New York at 17. God made me tall. So at 17, I literally was like, there's an opportunity for me to go to New York and do big things. Yes, I'm doing that. So I got out of school. I got my GED, moved into a model's home, and started modeling at a really young age. Got into college pretty much right away. And yeah, I thought I wanted to be a sportscaster because I grew up with Alabama football and Roger Staubach and the Dallas Cowboys, and I loved baseball. I was, on Alabama All-Stars 2 years in a row in softball. There wasn't a sport that I didn't play. I played basketball and volleyball, and I did it all because I was 5'11" by the time I was 10 years old. So I was kind of pushed into every sport. And so yeah, I thought I was going to be a sportscaster.
I'm like 5'8", so.
Well, you need some of my grandmother's collard greens, because my grandmother swears that it's her collard greens that made me grow tall.
Well, I'm coming for the next holiday then. That's
So
hilarious.
that's what
Yeah.
I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to be a sportscaster. And so I have a double master's in media studies and broadcast journalism. But when I got out of school, there was like one little station in Odessa, Texas that was interested in giving me a job. I don't even think I was going to be making $18,000 a year. And I was like, oh, they were going to let me cover Friday Night Lights, Friday Night Football. But the thought of moving from New York to Odessa and like living in basically at the poverty level uh, was crazy. But I was thinking of doing it. But then I got the opportunity to do starting over, and it all happened like very fast. So starting over was a very different direction, but I kind of jumped at it, and so things took off in a different way.
What a life. Is there something that you still hope to do with your career or your life?
Yes, just like you. I love that you now have, this amazing, talk show. Most definitely. I've got lots of things on my bucket list, things that I want to accomplish. Um, you know, I have done a lot. I've got a best-selling book. I've got products, which is great. But I mean, this is my first acting gig, and I kind of love it. So sure, let's do movies. Like I'm ready for the next adventure. I want to live to be 100. So to me, I've still got like 46 more years to do great things. So there's lots
Mhm.
that I want to accomplish. I'd really love to develop a perfume too. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm kind of into scent.
Yeah, I mean, you're so into fashion. Have you always been interested in that? I want to talk about your book too, Style on a Shoestring. Great title. Have you always kind of been into that? I mean, you look like you have been, so I would be surprised
Well,
if you were.
that's very sweet. Well, actually, my grandmother was a master sewer. So my grandparents raised me, and my grandmother, I could literally like tear something out of a magazine and hand it to her, and we would do a deep dive into her textile bin, and she
Ooh.
could whip something up for me in an afternoon. And she really instilled in me the belief that, the way that you present yourself will ultimately dictate the amount of respect that you get.
Mm,
So
mhm,
even though I come from, kind of a dirt road in Alabama, I have always believed that, your appearance has perceived value. And so just because, you don't come from a lot doesn't mean that you can't build the look of luxury. And so I
mm.
was taught very, very young how to, build the look of luxury on a dime. And so that has always interested me. And then when I moved to New York and I was, involved in the glamour of garment construction and showcasing garments and just the beauty and artistry of fashion, of course, I got very interested in it. And then I worked with, because of my age, I was around in the 80s and 90s with some of the most amazing makeup artists, and the time of, just models were just perceived in a different way. It was a very,
Yeah.
very glamorous and fun time. So yeah, I have always been into it.
And what do you love most about your life right now?
Oh, what a great question. What do I love most about my life right now? Honestly, I really love that every day is a little different.
Mm,
I love the adventure of it all. I like being very busy. I'm really, really fortunate that I have planted so many seeds, and now they're developing in new and fun and different ways. And so I am enjoying the fruit of a lifetime of, just trying and following my passions and following my curiosities, and leaving good impressions and having people remember me. So I feel like the second half of my life is now about me enjoying, all of the work and the effort and the energy and the love and the passion that I put into just kind of building a reputation, if you will. And so now I'm open to lots of new things, and I'm grateful for that, and so I'm appreciating and enjoying it.
I love that answer. What is the best way that people can support you and follow you and keep track of what you're up to? Because you're everywhere.
Well, andypage.com, Andy like a boy, Paige, andypage.com. You can find everything about the Girly Go Garter. You can find things about my book. You can, hire my services, because I do still work
Listen
with
to the
people one on
podcast.
one. Yes, you can find everything when I'm ready to launch my podcast, which
Mhm.
I know you're going to help me with. Everything will be there, so that is a constant download. And then, everything that I'm doing General Hospital is on shophomeandheart.com, which is the website that's attached to the Home Shopping Network within the show.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. I love being in this little box. It makes me so happy. Thank you
Well,
so much for having me.
come back anytime, and come back when you're ready to launch the podcast. I want you to announce it on this show.
What a lovely idea. I would love to do that.
All right, good. Andy Paige, everyone, thank you so much.
Life is difficult. Are you feeling overwhelmed or like you could use a little support for your mental well-being? Visit the Help Hub. It's the most comprehensive and inclusive free online destination for mental health resources, helpful tools, crisis hotlines, and supportive content. Just go to thehelphub.co to find the resources you need when you need them most. Unlike other resource pages, the Help Hub is divided into 16 different categories, ensuring that everyone in every community has access to the resources and support that matches their unique needs. Find the help you're looking for at thehelphub.co.
We're back, everybody, and now we're going to talk about something incredibly important: men's mental and emotional well-being. Erik Springberg is dedicated to helping men unlock their full potential by creating a safe, judgment-free space for them to be open and honest. Erik is a certified life and mental performance coach who specializes in guiding men through personal, career, and relationship challenges. He's here to share his insights and empower men to break free from self-doubt and build lives they truly want. So please welcome Erik Springberg. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me here today.
Thanks for being here. I want to start off with something completely non-related to anything, but
Okay.
you have a fantastic microphone that I want to learn more about and know, because it sounds really good. Obviously, we had some audio issues with Andy. Can you tell me about that microphone? Because I think I want to order it.
Yeah, it's a Samson, Samson, and I've had it for 3-4 years. And
Oh,
I had a coach that used to use it a lot, and listening to her speak every day was like, that was a must-have for me right in the very beginning of my career. So I
I
use it
love
as
that.
much as I possibly can.
Okay, good. For all you people out there podcasting, that's the mic to get, apparently. Uh, that's not why you're here, though. But I want to then ask, what is a mental performance coach? I think everybody, if you watch this show, we've had many life coaches on here, so I think we get that. But I'm curious what a mental performance coach is.
So I originally got certified as a life coach, and then one of my first clients was an athlete, and I've always been an athletic coach, which is what really been being a coach my whole life. And so I specifically went and got certified as a mental performance coach for athletes. But being able to combine the two as a life coach and a mental performance coach, I can use it for any client in any part of their lives. And so it's really been useful to learn a different aspect of just getting a life coach certification.
What did you want to be when you were a kid?
Oh, everything was around sports. I just any sport at any season, football, basketball, baseball, track, even a college athlete, and it's as much as I possibly could. I wanted to be around sports. So, but yeah, athleticism can only go so far, and so then I got into coaching athletics instead.
Oh, that's interesting. And like, what triggered you going into this line of work? Like, how it seems like such a hard shift.
Yeah, it was honestly my wife at the time told me about a podcast that she's like, I think you need to listen to this, and it was all about life coaching, or that men were life coaches, and I listened to it 3 times in a row, and I just knew exactly that was it. I didn't realize that I could still coach, but I could do it in a different way outside of athletics, and so within a few months I was certified, and I just jumped right into it ever since.
Can you talk a little bit about what working with you is like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ask a lot of questions. When I first talk to clients, I tell them I do my best not to assume an answer. We all have our own unique stories. Even if we've all gone through similar tragedies and traumatic events in our lives, it's still unique to us on how we think and how we feel about it. So I ask a lot of questions and to get an understanding of how my clients' brains operate and work and how they think. So then I can gear coaching specifically to them. and I do my best just to hold a safe space. And I also share my own stories. I've been through traumatic events, and I share so that it's, to have some commonality and know that I'm not immune to this. I do this work every day on myself. I have my own coach, I have my own therapist. So I use my own experience to help my clients as well.
Do you think that there's a shift, I think, in men seeking mental health help, and being more open and talking about it, and with their partners, with other men? Do you feel like that's kind of shifting in society?
I definitely do. I know for myself, majority of my life, I didn't even understand my own emotions and even being
Mhm.
able to label emotion. So I think that I'm part of a men's group. I went to a men's retreat last year, and it's really great to see these other men being vulnerable and learning about themselves, whether it's just for themselves, whether it's being a better parent, a better spouse, whatever it is for them. I absolutely definitely see it, and it's really great to witness that the more men being open about it and not have this
Mm.
stigma about, oh, you're a man, suck it up, don't cry. And it's just, well, I'm still a human and I still have
Yeah.
emotions, and I need to learn how to process them and move forward.
Why do you think that we're shifting that way? Do you have any idea?
I think it's just more and more, it's more and more, it's open more nowadays, like it's being talked about more, whether it's social media posts. There's so many people out there talking about their own experience, or whether it's them personally or a doctor explaining a scenario, being on podcasts like this. It's just, there's more information available out there. Even if they don't feel comfortable talking to their partners yet, they can still, like again, for me, being a safe space to talk to me. And I've heard, all kinds of stories from people, and everybody has one. We've
Yeah.
all to events. We're all programmed a particular way in life based off how we grew up and who our parents were, or any kind of adult figure that raised us. But does that work for us now? So we can look at different ways of changing. Because for me personally, I just didn't like being so bottled up anymore, and I wanted to be able to
Mhm.
express myself in it, because it didn't work in my relationships in life.
Are you working with people virtually or in person or both?
I have a few in person, but mostly virtually. I'm
Okay.
based out of Arizona, so there's a few people I've worked with in person, but everything else is virtually.
And what's the best way that people can connect with you?
ErikSpringberg.com is my website. That'll give you a description of how I work, some basic information, some testimonials, and being able to sign up for a free call, because a lot of people, a lot of men just don't know what it means to talk to somebody else and how to be open. And so I always offer a free call to say, hey, does it work? And do we fit? Am I the person that is going to be able to work with you?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up and ask your opinion on that. And I think in anything in the mental health space, whether it's a coach, a therapist, whatever, can you talk about the relationship that you have to build with the person you're working with, and I would like, and how it's okay to fire someone?
Yeah, exactly. And I've done it myself. I've had therapists and counselors before where it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
I'm getting what I need out of it. It's nothing wrong with them. It's just not that connection. And so I think without that connection, we're not going to be fully honest and open and really get the work that we need to get us where we want to be, if we don't have that comfort, being comfortable around somebody else. And again, for me, I don't work with I'm not the person for everyone, and that's okay. There's other people out there you can talk to. And even my own coach, I love her to death. I've used her for years, but I'll rely on my therapist instead, or even a different friend that I can express myself with.
I also like that you brought up that you have coaches, you have therapists. I do too. I have business coaches, life coaches,
Yeah.
therapists, and the combination of all of them. And can you talk about that too, and how important that is? Because I feel like you all serve a different purpose, but also the combination of everyone is so helpful to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I do my best to get a kind of a broad spectrum so that I can kind of pick and choose what works for me. My therapist may not always say something that works for me, and maybe it just doesn't fit my story at the time, but her experience also helps in other areas. And then I can go to my coach and it's like, hey, this is what came up for me in therapy. Can we dig into more of this? And so I can kind of go back and forth as well. and even reading books, and then bringing there's Dr. Richard Schwartz talks about parts of us. We all have these different parts of us. And so I started reading that first, and then I came to my therapist like, hey, do you know anything about this? She's like, yeah, I do that work. Great, let's dive into that. This is what I want to do. So I can kind of build my own personal growth and then take it to where I want to be, to who I want to talk to.
I like that. I think a lot of times, maybe I'm just speaking personally, you think, oh, what I'm going through isn't that bad. It's not as bad as this person. I don't have this disease, so I don't need to go to the doctor. And so we don't seek out help. Do you find that as well? And can you kind of talk about that as well, of like not waiting until it's too late in some cases?
Absolutely. And I think we all have our own unique experience. And again, if like last year I lost my mom, and that was a unique experience to me. Other people have lost parents, but how in their story and the relationship with that parent may not have been the same as mine. So my grief, and grief shows up in a lot of different ways and a lot of different in it whenever it wants to, and it can last however long it wants to. So it's understanding that it's okay that you have a comparison to somebody else, but you are still going through this emotion, this feeling, this grief, this anger, whatever the emotion is, it's still unique to you, regardless of what anybody else's story is. And it's okay to ask for help, or if you don't know how, some people just like, where do I start? Okay, well, maybe start with a friend or a loved one, a parent, a coworker, somebody that you can confide in, to like, hey, can you help me get somewhere? Like I just need somebody to talk to. And it's taking that first action step, knowing it's okay to do so, regardless of what anybody else's stories are. Because everybody's got one, and some are going to seem like, oh my gosh, that's not me. I guess I'm all right. It's like, no, it's okay that you still have this experience.
And that same kind of line of thought, what are some of the maybe common like challenges that your clients have had that you've helped with?
I think a lot of it comes down to understanding their own emotions, and it's okay to have them. Again, when it comes to a traumatic event or a loss of a loved one, and knowing, at least when they're with me, it's okay to cry. And I'll have men cry, and just maybe it's the first time they've ever done it, or done it around somebody else, and I can hold that space because that energy is in the body and it needs to be released. But a lot of times I'll suck it up. I'll be okay. Let me just keep fighting it down. So knowing that, understanding that it's okay to have that emotion, and learning how to label the emotion so that when it does come up, like, oh, I'm feeling sad right now, or I'm feeling anger, and it's understandable why I'm feeling that particular way. Again, when it comes to grief, it's like, okay, why do I feel sad? Well, I feel sad because my mom passed away. Okay, well, that's understandable. It's there for a reason. And sometimes these emotions will show up. We're not really sure where they're coming from. It's a trigger. But teaching my clients to understand the emotions, being able to label it, and uncomfortable as it is, sit with the emotion. Because sometimes we want to go do something else right away, and it could be video games, could be drinking, could be working out, could be anything, just to escape that emotion because it's uncomfortable. Learning how to sit with it is a big part of the processing.
Yes, I love a good avoidance to occupy your brain, right? Yes.
Right? Anything else but feeling this emotion.
Exactly. Yeah. What do you think holds men back from seeking out help? Is it ego? Is it pride? Like, what do you think it is?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the society programs that we have that are towards men, and women have them too, but I can only speak on men. And how I grew up, and I wasn't taught how to handle my emotions, and that just led into sports. I could have been a lot more better athlete if I learned how to handle my emotions. My relationships could have been a lot better with family, friends, or my spouse. So it interfered my whole life, but then it was such a program, like, oh, that's just what I do. That's just who I am. But and a lot of people say that, and I'll have clients say that. It's like, well, is it working though? Do you like that part of you? And if you don't, then you have the ability to change it. And that's, again, why I share my experiences with clients, because I still do this work. I've been doing it for years. I'll never stop doing it. I'm always searching for ways to improve myself, because the better person I can be, I can show up as a better dad, a better friend, a better coach. But I think a lot of it is just this societal programming, or, tough it up and men don't cry. But It's not true. It's all just
I think that's such a good mental like check when that thought pops into your head of like, well, that's just who I am. Like to stop and go, yeah, but is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Exactly.
Like,
Is it working? Are you getting the
is there
results
room
you
there?
want? Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
like the results you're getting? If not, well, then let's go back and change that thought and try a different perspective. And that's what I try to challenge my clients' minds to look at life through a different perspective. And then ultimately they are the only ones that get to decide if they like that new perspective or not. And if they do, then okay, let me help you get there. What are your goals for that new life that you want for yourself?
Gosh, what do you love about your life right now?
I I love I've got a new life right now. I'm going through a divorce, so it's been a challenge, but it's also I'm learning to love being by myself and learning how to have a relationship with myself and not try to just distract with everything else in society. So learning about myself, spending time with my kids and traveling to see family and having my own internal freedom has been a great part of my life right now.
It's awesome. I mean, most of that is a great story. We have a question from a viewer. Tell us a little bit more about your retreats. Where are they and who are they for?
So I have a contracted out to a company called Momentum We, and it's specifically for men and teaching men how to kind of step into masculinity and not necessarily what society tells us that we are to be masculine, but who we are individually and being open and honest. So there's actually a retreat a week or two from now, and they're held in Utah, and it's a 3 or 4 day event. And I don't put them on. I work for somebody that puts them on, and it's just a deep dive, 10, 12 hours a day of really digging into our emotions as men and what it means to be open and understanding ourselves. And I went last year in October, and it was an incredible life experience. And I'm great friends with everybody else that was there, and we still have men's group that we meet up with. It's just an ongoing weekly event that I have with these other great men
That's cool.
that open and honest and share with each other and be a safe space.
Yeah. Is there an age range that you're finding that people usually come to you at, like at a stage in their life, or does it all vary?
It all varies. And I've worked athletic sides. As an athlete, the youngest kid I worked with was 8 years old. And then, but mostly it's adults. And when it comes to men, 20s on up. I mean, and it's just, I love working with younger kids or younger adults because their whole life can change based off doing this work. I mean, I'm 51 years old. My life would have been completely different if I started this work, but here I am now, and I love what I do.
I love that. Like Erik said, you can do a free call with him on his website, erikspringberg.com. And one of the things he also said was like, let's see if we match and let's see if we get along. So I want to play maybe a quick little, it's not really a game, but I call it Fave Rave. Will you play with me?
Yes.
All right. Pick a number 1 through 5.
4.
4. So in here are a bunch of like categories, and I'm going to pick 4 of them out, and you have to give me your favorite in that category.
Okay.
Then maybe someone will be like, "Oh, I love mushrooms on my pizza too." I'm going to call him. Okay.
Nope.
Your favorite time of day.
I like getting up in the morning. I live in Arizona, so watching the sun come up, seeing the sunshine every day is absolutely one of my favorites.
Are you still getting the sunshine? Because I wake up at 4:15 and it is not getting sunshine here.
No, and it's a cloudy day today. So I'm originally from Seattle, so it's like a Northwest day today.
Yeah. Okay. Your favorite candle scent.
Ooh, I'm not a candle fan. I'm too sensitive to scents, so unfortunately I'm not a candle fan.
That's important to know. Okay. Your favorite memory of the past week.
The past week. It may have been just over a week ago. I'd have to look at the dates, but I was up in Idaho visiting my dad and my sister, and I don't get to see him very often, so that was a really great event.
Oh, nice. Final question. Your favorite type of lighting?
Lighting. I like a soft light, like just a nice kind of dim the energy in the body and just relax.
I was just reading a study on like all these lights that we have now, especially what it does to your Yes, and all the
Yeah.
LED lights and how kind of
The
not great
spectrums
they
and
are.
how it influences
Yeah.
us. You work in an office and it's completely different. You
Mhm.
come home, it's different, and then you get natural light outside, it's different. Yeah,
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
big influence on us.
I want to thank you for coming on here, but also for just creating such a resource, for such a space for people to go and connect with other people, and
Yeah.
the work that you're doing. I appreciate that so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you much for saying that. I truly love what I do, and a lot of it is just doing my own work and then helping others, knowing it's possible, and just looking again at life at a different perspective, knowing it's okay to be who we are.
That's perfect. You can check out Erik at erikspringberg.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
You too. That is our show, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Make sure you share it right now. You can just go share it. We'll be back tomorrow with the author of the Lily Barlow series, Carla Vergo, and another author who has an entire book related to taking walks in different parks, different places in the United States, Marjorie Turner Holman. Have a great day, everybody. Go make your day richer. Go make somebody else's day richer. You've made mine by watching this show, and I love you for it. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.